On DC Music Rocks, we're shining a spotlight on the great songs, artists, and incredible people behind the DC region's music scene, reclaiming the raw style of 70s punk with undertones of classic pop, rock and roll, and reggae. The Split Seconds have been lauded as a return to the form for it. Look at me! I'm so excited you're here. They have been lauded as a return to form for punk rock, described by the Washington Post as DC punk rock sound distilled. The Split Seconds have maintained momentum following the release of their first LP, Center of Attention, and poised for their second full-length release. There is no doubt that Counterfeit Reality, which you just heard a track from, doubles down and delivers yet another dose of bold, catchy, and pointed songwriting and that awesome classic pop sound. Guys, I first came across these guys because I've known them since before, and then I had the honor of having them. They played in the DC Music Rocks Festival last year, and just blew me away with that performance. And if you haven't seen these guys live, you got to go check out their release show that's happening. Tell them again, June 30th
at the Black Cat.
At the Black Cat. Got to come see these guys, because seeing them live just doesn't do it justice if you don't see it live. So, guys, I've been a fan for a while, and so it's freaking awesome that there's a new album and I get to share it, and you're all here with me right now. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having us. Yeah,
this is cool. All right, now what is it? Talk about the name. Where does the name The Split Seconds come from?
The Split Seconds, it kind of started as a project where I had a lot of songs left over from an older project that I did called The Coastals, and I wasn't sure what was going to come of the project, so I just ended up heading into the studio with my buddy Goo, who plays in Boardroom Heroes. He was on drums, and I did the rest of it. But I didn't expect the project to really stick around that long.
Nice.
So yeah, and I thought just for kind of like a tight, kind of punchy up tempo classic punk rock band, it just sounded like a cool name. So the sound of the name fit the sound of the band, and luckily, I ended up meeting Sean here, and then bringing these guys on board, and we've been able to turn it into something that looks like it's going good places. So
that's awesome.
There's a little bit of fatalism baked into the name, but hopefully it's not entirely correct.
Awesome. And so they're listening to you, and they're maybe watching you on the YouTube video, or they're listening to you right now. Introduce yourselves and what you play for the band. Who is everybody?
I'm Drew Champion. I'm lead vocals and guitar.
My name is Stephen Parsons. I play the bass guitar.
My name is Sean Peterson. I play the drums.
And I'm Alex Massey, and I play guitar and vocals.
There it is. And wow, guys. So 4 pieces. Produce that sound. And what part of the DC region are you guys connected to?
I grew up in Gaithersburg. Lived in and around D.C. ever since. I've lived in PG County and D.C. proper in Virginia.
Got it, and that's Drew. And when you're talking, say your name so that the other guys know. What about you other guys?
I think that we're all from around the general D.C. DMV area.
Nice.
Yeah.
Like born and raised, most of you guys, or is anybody from out of
No,
town
I'm actually
too?
from Florida, but I moved here, 8 years ago.
Okay, so been here.
Steven's from Florida.
Yeah.
But he moved here. Sean's from
Michigan.
Michigan.
Yeah.
He moved here, and Alex is another Gaithersburger.
Yeah, I'm also a Gaithersburger.
Yeah.
Wow, did you guys know each other in
Not
Gaithersburg
at
back in
all.
the day? No. That's amazing.
Yeah, we have some other friends in bands that are Gaithersburgers too, but we didn't know them either until we all started playing punk rock together in DC. So
That's amazing. So now talk about the funniest moment for the Split Seconds when you've been on stage. So what's the funniest moment?
on stage.
On stage or off stage?
Well, now when you say that, I now want to hear both. So tell me both because I'm too curious.
On stage might have been there was a show we were playing. I won't say where, but we had a sound guy who.
I feel like this is the beginning of every good joke. So there once was the sound guy.
There once was a sound guy, and he looked like he had maybe watched Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure and picked up wardrobe tips and never looked back.
Oh wow!
And full on bandana, and he was—I don't know what he was on, but it was something. And he kept like leaving the board and going outside, and so didn't get very good sound for that show, but did get a couple of good stories out of that one. So
For real.
he got a massive fight with our bassist at the time. It was hilarious.
I was gonna say this was supposed to be a funny story, and all he did was walk away, and you didn't get good sound. I feel like there's something else you're leaving out.
Well,
there.
let me tell you that like being witness to both sides of the argument, everybody was wrong.
All right, so that's the on-stage story. Now, what about funniest moment off stage for you guys?
Are you familiar with Murphy's Law? Everything that can go wrong will go wrong.
Oh, this is so good. Tell me
We
more.
we had a show up in Poughkeepsie, New York, about a year ago, where we were opening up for a band called the Mensingers, which are a phenomenal band, I think, out of Scranton, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
They're great, and we were really, really excited. But everything wrong could have gone wrong, went wrong trying to get up there. So it took a long time for us to rent a van.
Yeah, it turns out you can't rent. Pro tip: you can't rent a van with a debit card. Just that. Pro tip.
Oh, okay.
So that took a long time, and then the van only had 2 seats.
Oh.
So Drew
this-
finally gets there and he's late, and all of us are mad at Drew. And then Drew comes up with this 2-seater van. There's actually 4 people in the band. Those are 2 completely different numbers. So
And he's just like, well,
Alex and Steve
get in the back.
begrudgingly drive up in Alex's Prius, and Drew and I basically are white knuckling it up to New York. And we get a call from Travis, the guy who owns our label, and he's fuming because we're not there and they want us to sound check. So we're somewhere in New Jersey, somewhere in New York, and Drew really has to go to the bathroom. And we can't stop. There's no time. We're going to miss this show. So as I'm driving, maybe doing like 90, 95 down the expressway in terrible traffic, Drew climbs over all of our gear in the back of this van, goes all the way to the back, and has to go to the bathroom in a Gatorade bottle.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, everything that could go wrong.
Oh wait, no,
Hold
I got a picture.
Did you
of
get
it.
a ticket too?
No, but
Okay.
I've got a picture of it on my phone.
Oh,
I'll show you later. I was taking this picture while I was driving. So,
I didn't-
sorry, Mom.
I
And
didn't
while
have,
he's peeing.
I didn't have a change of clothes either, so it was a real hot wire act, you know.
I feel like, all right, so when you go to the Black Hat and see these guys on June 30th, make sure you catch up with Sean to get this picture.
Yeah.
Because this is, oh man.
I mean, it's blackmail. You
I
know,
was just
that's
looking
what
out
it
the
is.
back windows, asking myself questions about what I was doing with my life.
Oh my God, guys. What about the biggest success moment that comes to mind when you think about the Split Second so far?
I'd say on paper, we're going to be playing Warped Tour this July, and that's real cool. For me personally, just growing up in Montgomery County and living in D.C. and the surroundings, I always 930 Club is always like the top of the hill for me, and so just on a personal level, playing DC Music Rocks Festival last year was like a really big deal for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
I love that I get to be a part of that. That's cool. All right. Well, now, okay, my favorite question that I love to ask also is, on a personal side, each of you guys talk about what you do outside of the Split Seconds. Drew, you go first, man.
Yeah, this is
Run down the line.
Yeah, I'm a mechanical engineer. I work in Bethesda, and when I'm not a mechanical engineer and I'm playing music, I've been taking boxing lessons.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not good yet.
And it just straight up traditional boxing or
Yeah.
kickboxing?
No,
Or
just straight up. I figure like when I get my hands down, then maybe I can move to the other extremities.
Okay, start with the hands.
Yeah, you gotta
I
start
got
with the
it.
hands.
There we go. And is that up? Are you still? You said Gaithersburg. Are you still up in Maryland? Or where do you right
No,
now?
I just actually moved to Bethesda to
Nice.
be close to where I was working. I was living in Tenleytown before that.
Okay, gotcha. All right, talk to us next.
Well, this is Steven. And besides hanging out with my pit bull, who's adorable, I
Can't
play
confirm, yeah.
I play a lot of chess,
Really?
like an obscene amount.
Is this like online tournaments or
No, I
in
play
person?
well. I mean both, but it's more fun to play against other people over the board. Yeah, totally.
Okay.
It's exciting. I love it.
I mean, it's a slow-paced game, but it's kind of funny because I picture you playing bass, like going wide. If you didn't see the picture on social media of this episode, you saw him right up against the camera, like going crazy with his bass. And then I'm imagining that same guy, like,
Oh yeah.
slow and poised, sitting behind a chessboard, not moving for minutes at a time.
It's a mental battle. It's great. I love it.
That's amazing. Wow. All right. Let's talk to us, Sean.
Yeah, this is Sean. So outside of this band, I play in another band. I'm a professional drummer in a cover band called The Jump Off. We play all up and down the East Coast. So that's pretty much all I get to do with my time is either Split Seconds or Jump Off, playing in bands.
Wow. And so does that mean, on average, how many shows are you playing? Like a week or a year or a month?
Right now I'm playing about three to four per week, which is kind of cool. Being busy is good, and being busy means I get paid more, which is always awesome.
Also,
But
very true.
this has been the first year of me not having like a day job, because while I was playing with these guys in DC, I was working various kind of odd jobs here and there. So it's been interesting, like completely committing myself to music, both in terms of time and finances. So
That's amazing, man.
yeah.
Wow. Congrats. All right, cool. Props to you for going full time, man. It's interesting because in DC there's some that are full time and then some that aren't, and some that are trying to transition to that, and then some people
There's
that aren't.
a
and
huge gray area of part-time and what that
Yes.
means to be part-time. Because it's like a spectrum. Like there's some people where part-time is like, oh, they're full-time, but they kind of have the job for safety. And there's some people who are part-time because they're barely part-time, you know?
Right. Yep.
So,
True.
it's fun. It's a little
Yeah.
bit scary at times, but it's fun.
That's awesome. All right, you're next, man.
Yep, this is Alex, and I'm computer science by trade, which means I get to sit at a desk for 8 hours a day, at least, on a lucky day. And then outside of that, I play a lot of video games. I throw down on N64.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Say
Can't
more.
handle
What
me, though.
games?
I
What games?
No, I destroy Steve
Yeah,
at Smash.
that's not true.
He
Yeah,
destroys
no.
everyone in
Untrue.
Smash.
Smash Brothers? Smash?
Yes,
What is
yeah,
that?
Super
Okay.
Smash Brothers for
Okay.
N64.
Got it.
Yeah, I also recently got into Fortnite, which is like popular with the kids these days.
Nice. Is that also on N64?
No, no, that's like on the computer and like I don't know, it's like on your smartphone too. I don't know how that works.
I was just saying, if they don't know what Fortnite is, what is Smash Brothers and what is Fortnite? If they don't know what those two are, what kind of game is that?
Smash Brothers is like throwback fighting game, but not like Tekken or Street Fighter. I don't know how to describe this.
So it's like one-on-one, like Mortal Kombat.
It's
or
like
that
Mario
kind
gets
of-
in fights with Yoshi, right?
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's got all the Nintendo characters, so like
Yeah.
Star Fox and Samus.
I got
And the
you.
little mushroom guy. You know.
And you're fighting each other.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And then what? And the
Yeah.
other one?
Yeah, Fortnite's expanding. That's like new genre called Battle Royale, and it's just you drop 100 people onto a big map. They shoot each other with guns. Someone wins.
Nice.
It's never me.
It's, one day we're training.
I'm
we're working on it.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, that's amazing. So now, what about switching gears then back to the split seconds then? So what's tell us the story about a time you guys as a band tried and failed.
Jeez. I feel like that's every time. Yeah.
We already taled about you peeing in a bottle.
Yeah. No, I think that I mean, there's some seriousness when I say that it feels like all the time. I mean, we're always trying to write good songs, and sometimes you come up short. Trying to play good gigs. Sometimes you come up short, and you just like keep working at it. But I'd say like in the long term, I don't think that there've been any like real big setbacks for us. We've been lucky that way. So.
Nice guys. Well, what about, all right, so now for each of you then, this one's for each of you. What do you have in your music collection that might surprise us? Go down the line.
This is Drew. I mean, I listen to a lot of stuff, everything. I like a lot of classical music, a lot of jazz. I listen to a lot of metal. And so I actually don't listen to all that much punk rock.
Interesting.
Yeah, I used to listen to a lot of punk rock, and I do feel like that's kind of like, my core sound. But at the same time, if I'm just out listening to something, it's almost never punk rock. So yeah.
Interesting. And when you get in the car, which way do you go first? Metal, jazz, classical?
What kind of day did I have?
Oh, all right, I got you.
Yeah, no, it's been a lot of metal lately. Just picked up Refused's first record, and so I guess that's considered like hardcore. But yeah, some good dissonance. But if I'm trying to chill out, sure, it's some Brahms, some Tchaikovsky.
Nice.
And then if it's a Saturday afternoon and I'm hanging out, maybe some Stan Getz, maybe some Charlie Christian.
Cool. All right, Steve. What about you, man?
I think we all have kind of very musical tastes, but I don't think anybody else has a Katy Perry record on vinyl. Like,
That's awesome.
So
You
that's
do?
yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Sounds great. I've got Teenage Dream, which is a
that's
fantastic
sweet.
record. So
That's awesome.
Is a good
try
one.
and top that.
You know, I
don't
almost want to
think
hear
it's
you guys cover a Katy Perry song. I think that would be
feel like that's
hysterical.
happened
I'm
before.
down with that. Which one? Like which one would you? Which one would you
no,
choose?
all of
You
them.
heard it here first. Maybe that happens. Oh God, that'd be hysterical. Anyway, please take a video whenever that day comes, and I will share it.
Deal.
That would be us. All right.
Hey,
What about
this
you?
is Sean. Drew kind of already went down this route, and I'm not going to try to get too nerdy here, but I'm a classically trained musician before I'm a drummer. So
Really?
yeah.
Classical trained in what?
Euphonium.
Really?
It's like a little tuba.
It's like a little tuba. Yeah.
tuba.
I actually went to school for music, for better or for worse. So the punk rock thing kind of happened after I got out of school and was kind of disillusioned with being a classical musician.
What made you switch to drums?
So I randomly met Drew's mom when I was working at an auto body shop. This is kind of like one of the first in the series of like odd jobs. And one day I was driving this lady to get her car picked up, and she goes, "Oh, my son's a guitarist, and he's really, really good." And I was thinking to myself, like, "Yeah, right, lady. Yeah, no, you're not."
Every mom says that. Okay.
But I did drumline in college, and I was like, "Hey, drums was always fun. I hate like what I was doing before, but if I wanted to pick back music up again, like maybe I'd consider being a drummer." And
Nice.
so she mentioned that her son Drew needed a drummer. He's like, "Oh, I play drums," kind of like stretching the truth a little bit. So I waited a couple weeks, bought a drum set, and called Drew up, and now we're a band. now we're on a podcast.
So I went
I
to
know you're on a podcast.
I went to
Love
his
it.
house and we jammed like the first record, and he played it like basically flawlessly. I had no idea that he had just learned drums in like 2 weeks.
Wow.
The moral of the
yeah.
story is sometimes lying is good.
So it's- kids, don't listen too close to that. But okay, yes,
You should
there,
listen
there
very
you go.
close.
I love it. Oh man. All right, one more. Talk to us.
Well, this is Alex. Yeah, music collection. I mean, I'm really into Brad Paisley. He's got that country.
Wow, I
He's
didn't
got
see that coming.
he's got that crazy guitar work. He's phenomenal.
That's true.
Brad Paisley.
But then I guess I'm also eclectic. I throw down with all types of EDM, whether we're talking like dubstep, trap,
Trash can noises.
Wow.
Everything.
EDM.
transformer sounds. You know.
Yep, that's right.
It's so good. All right, and then my last question and it's my favorite one that I love to ask, and this is for all of you guys. If you could offer one piece of advice, what would it be?
This is Drew. I think staying humble is important, especially if you're a musician. Just if you're ever thinking that you're something special and you lose that determination, just keep your head down and keep doing what you got to do. And if you ever think that something's owed to you, you're probably wrong. So
Yeah, fair enough.
Kind of going off what Drew said, I think don't stop playing music, because success is definitely not going to come if you don't try, if you're not diligent.
Good point.
So in addition to lying, this is awesome. I take a callback. Going off of what Drew and Steve said, I think work hard, be really, really nice to people, because knowing the right people and having great relationships with them, one, opens the most doors for you, and two, makes the experience better for everyone involved. It kind of creates communities of people who support each other, and that's awesome.
I'm still working on that one.
Yeah, excellent. Although, I mean, you guys are all nice guys. Even though in your photos you look like tough guys, I can say that you're all nice guys. Yeah, I dig it.
All right. Yeah, this is Alex, and I mean, this is a lot of persistence coming from the rest of the group. And while it's great, to keep your head down and really grind at it, it's always good to, take a minute, take a breather, and look around, because there's a lot you can miss. Life is short.
Yeah.
So, like, what comes to when you're saying that? Right? Is there something specific that comes to mind when you're, like, an example, or what do you mean?
I mean, honestly, it doesn't even have to be music related. Just going outside and just taking a look up at the sky.
This is why Alex is engaged and the rest of us
That's so deep, man. It's so good. All right. I can see what she sees in you.
Oh, stop.
I love it. All right. Well, and then one more, and for those folks who want to find out more about you guys and the stuff going on with the Split Seconds, where do they go?
TheSplitSeconds.com is going to be your first place to stop. If you want to hear the new record, it should be up on all the outlets within the next couple of days. But if you just can't wait, SoundCloud.com/TheSplitSecondsBand is where you want to head. And definitely give us a like on Facebook, Facebook.com/TheSplitSecondsBand.